Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Takesha's Divine Healing Weekly Inspiration Station, where I, Takesha Allen, am here to inspire, uplift, and encourage. I know it has been a very long time, and I apologize for not being consistent with my videos. However, I have been experiencing a lot of things, which is no excuse because when you go through things, you know, a lot of experiences cause you to go harder and, to be motivated to accomplish the things that have been set before you. So there's no excuse. However, I've really been going through a lot of ups and downs, a lot of changes. And I'm grateful and thankful that I am still here. Um, I am healthy. And that things are going the way that God intends. This evening, we will be discussing what is currently taking place in our world today with this coronavirus pandemic. Um, it has hit us very hard here in the United States. I can say that. But there are two sides to every story, and we're going to get right into it. During this time where the pandemic controls many aspects of our lives, I can truly say that this virus outbreak is both a blessing and a curse. I know that sounds strange. It really does. However, I tend to take a look at things, both spiritually as well as naturally. I want to say that I believe that this is a curse because so many people who have contracted this disease have lost their lives. Um, on a broader side, of course, media says how many people have died, how many people have gotten coronavirus, and they focus on the negative more than they do the positive. You don't hear too many stories about those people who have recovered, with in a certain amount of time or whatever. They just really focus on the negative of it. But again, the sad part is it being a curse because this is taking place in our world. Everything has shut down. We have stay-at-home orders. We have social distancing. Stores closing at a certain time. Some stores are not even open. People are not able to work. Many of us are home, unable to make a living. Some of us are in homes where prior to this pandemic, we're in abuse and neglectful type situations, whether it be children being abused, domestic violence, um, any type of verbal, emotional, or mental abuse, alcoholism, dealing with somebody who is addicted to any type of drugs, a situation that may not be productive, so to say. And, many kids in situations to where they're being, like I said, abused and their parents really don't care about them, and for them to have to stay home and have nowhere else to go in that type of situation, or an elderly person in a nursing home that has been mistreated, you know what I'm saying, and they can't have their family come in to check up on them or anything like that. That's the cursing part of all of this. Um, you know, a lot of stress has come from this. A lot of depression and hopelessness has crept in for some people as it relates to this pandemic. So that's the side where it's a curse, where, bad things are happening, so much negativity, and just not a lot of love. But on the other side, I say that this is a blessing because God is with us every step of the way. This is and has been a time for us to cherish our loved ones, a time for us to spend more time with our families, as it relates to kids being homeschooled. Now we as parents get to see what the teachers are really dealing with as it relates to our children, and we get to experience both the teaching side and the learning process as it relates to our kids. A lot of working parents, we are gone most of the day. You working about 8 to 12 hours a day. You come home, you're tired, you got to cook, you got to clean up, you got to get prepared for the next day. Some families who are single parent households, you know what I mean? It's like a lot of your day passes by, so you don't really get to interact with your children as much as you would like. Your children really don't get to interact with the parents as much. It's not a lot of family time until it comes to the weekend. And sometimes not even then do children have the time to spend with their parents, or parents have the time to spend with their children during the weekend, because they may possibly have to work overtime or something, to make up for that other parent not being there, or not having enough income to supplement whatever else is needed within the household. So this is an intimate time for parents and children, and for families, husbands and wives. So that's the blessing in this. I would also say that it's been a time to have a more intimate relationship with God. If you don't know God, this is the time to get to know God. If you do know God and you strayed away, this is the time for you to come on back. Draw nigh unto Him, and Him to draw nigh unto you. For you to feel His loving embrace, and to know that He loves you and He cares about you and He got you through all of this. Not a time to panic. Not a time to, just go crazy and think that all hope is lost, and you're suffering because you don't have income coming in and all those types of things. It's just, God is showing us that we can trust Him. It's a time to slow down and unwind from all the madness and all the chaos from this world. It's a time to just chill, a time of forgiveness, a time of love, a time of self-reflection. God has given us this time to give His name all the glory that's due unto Him. This is His world. This is what He created. And, we cannot take advantage of it. We cannot take it for granted. This is the time to truly operate in His grace and His mercy. This is truly the time to wake up every day to be grateful and thankful. Like I said before, a lot of people have lost their lives due to this. But those who are still standing, we ought to be grateful and thankful, because God has kept His angels around us. All hurt, harm, and danger, seen and unseen, hasn't come upon us. We're still living. We're still kicking. We may not have everything that we want, but we have everything that we need, because God is supplying. What it looks like with the natural eye is not really what it is spiritually. And that's why I say that this is a blessing. This is a time to have promises fulfilled. Work on your business ideas, the gifts that God have given us, to use them, to go out and bless others, to be a blessing to your community, to be a blessing to other family members, to go out and make a difference in the world. This is not a time to be idle or to be lazy, not to be pigging out and just sit in front of the TV all day, playing video games and all that type of stuff. Yeah, there is a time for that, but this is a time to self-reflect, to get our lives back on track, and to appreciate the beauty of this world, what God has blessed us with, and who He has put into our lives. It's a time to find peace and to gain patience during this time of slowdown. So those are all the blessings that come from this. So again, I just hope that you are doing your part, being a help, being a blessing to others, that others are being a blessing to you, that you are, restoring your relationships with families and friends, restoring your relationship with God, becoming closer to God, forgiving, letting things go, looking at things in a more positive light, leaving negativity behind, and just pushing forward. It's hard for everybody, but this is a time to stick together. It's not a time to be fighting. It's not a time to be killing, and it's definitely not a time to go back and backtrack into those things that we were doing before this pandemic hit. You know, to be a better us is the whole point of all of this. So hopefully each and every one of you out there are safe and healthy. I would suggest that you just continue to pray and to continue to work on yourself. Find your passion and your purpose if you have not already. Reflect on positive things rather than the negative. Come out better than when you went in. My prayers are with you. Many continued blessings. Have a great evening. See you next time. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I will be back with another segment next week. Have a great evening. Love you all. Good night.